She didn't steal the money overnight. First, she stole her mother's trust. After years of silence, Carla Wade suddenly returned to the life of her 84-year-old adoptive mother, Dorothy Sims. Only 4 months later, Dorothy's entire $3.1 million estate belonged to Carla, while the son who had sacrificed years caring for her mother was erased from the will as if he had never existed. Everyone believed it was Dorothy's final wish, until a courtroom uncovered the truth hidden behind dementia, manipulation, and a lie that changed everything. Stay with us until the very end, because today's story proves that the cruelest betrayals don't always begin with greed. They begin when someone convinces a vulnerable parent to stop trusting the child who never abandoned them. Dorothy Sims was 84 years old and had spent her life in Louisville, Kentucky, where she had worked as a bookkeeper for 30 years before retiring with a carefully managed estate valued at $3.1 million. She had adopted 2 children decades earlier. Patrick, now 50, had remained close to her throughout his adult life, eventually moving back to Louisville in 2018 to manage her care full-time as her memory began to deteriorate. Carla Wade, 46, had drifted out of the family's orbit years earlier, following a series of disputes that had left the relationship effectively severed. Dorothy had not seen or spoken to Carla in nearly 8 years. Patrick had built his entire daily routine around her mother's needs. He managed her medications, attended every medical appointment, coordinated with her physicians, and sat with her through the difficult nights when her dementia left her frightened and confused. He had declined job opportunities in other cities, delayed his own financial plans, and given years of his life to a woman he loved without conditions. Dorothy, on her better days, told him she did not know what she would do without him. Then, Carla came back. She arrived in March of 2022 without warning, appearing at Dorothy's door on a Tuesday afternoon while Patrick was running errands. She brought flowers. She was warm, attentive, and spoke to Dorothy as though no time had passed between them at all. Dorothy, whose dementia had been progressing steadily, did not fully remember the circumstances of their estrangement. She remembered only that Carla was her daughter. She welcomed her inside. Over the following weeks, Carla visited frequently, always timing her arrivals to coincide with Patrick's absences. She brought gifts. She took Dorothy on short outings. She positioned herself as the child who had finally come home. Patrick noticed the visits and initially said nothing, hoping the reconnection might genuinely benefit his mother. He did not yet understand what Carla was doing during those private hours. What Carla was doing was filling the hours with carefully constructed stories. She told Dorothy repeatedly and across multiple visits that Patrick had been speaking to attorneys about placing her in a care facility against her wishes. She told her that Patrick had been managing her finances for his own benefit and was planning to take control of her estate before she died. She told her that the people at Patrick's church had been discussing Dorothy's money. None of it was true. All of it delivered in a calm, loving tone by someone Dorothy trusted because she could not fully remember why she should not. By May of 2022, Dorothy had become visibly cooler toward Patrick. She began asking him pointed questions about her accounts. She told him once that she had heard what he was planning. Patrick had no idea what she meant. He asked her where she had heard it. She could not fully remember. In June of 2022, Carla arranged a visit with a mobile notary she had sourced independently without contacting Dorothy's longtime estate attorney. She brought a complete will revision that named herself as sole beneficiary of the entire estate and removed Patrick without explanation. She presented it to Dorothy during a morning visit as a document that would protect her from people who were trying to take advantage of her. Dorothy signed it. She believed she was protecting herself from her son. Patrick discovered the revised will 3 weeks after Dorothy passed away in November of 2022, when the estate attorney's office contacted him to inform him he had no claim under the current document. He sat in the attorney's parking lot for 20 minutes before he was able to drive. He retained attorney Susan Caldwell, a probate litigator in Louisville with 17 years of experience handling contested estates. Susan immediately requested Dorothy's complete medical records from the 6 months surrounding the will signing. The records were extensive and consistent. Dorothy's neurologist had documented moderate to severe cognitive impairment throughout that period, specifically noting that she was highly susceptible to suggestion and had demonstrated difficulty distinguishing between accurate and inaccurate information presented to her by people she trusted. Susan also interviewed 3 of Dorothy's neighbors, all of whom had been present during various visits from Carla and had observed Carla speaking to Dorothy privately for extended periods. 2 of them independently recalled Carla telling Dorothy that Patrick had been meeting with lawyers about her care. One of them had written it down at the time because it had struck her as an odd thing to say. Susan obtained Carla's phone records through discovery, which showed a series of calls to a legal document preparation service in the weeks before the will signing, and not a single call to Dorothy's estate attorney, whose name and number had been in Dorothy's files for over a decade. The hearing was held before the Honorable Judge Catherine Moore at the Jefferson County Probate Court in Louisville. Susan Caldwell presented the neurological records, the neighbor testimony, the phone records, and a detailed timeline showing how Carla's visits had systematically preceded each observable shift in Dorothy's attitude toward Patrick. She called Dorothy's neurologist to testify. The physician explained to the court in careful clinical detail that a patient in Dorothy's documented condition would have been entirely unable to critically evaluate false information presented to her by someone she had been conditioned to trust. She testified that the pattern of influence described by the neighbors was consistent with a deliberate strategy designed to exploit exactly that vulnerability. Susan then presented a statement from Dorothy's estate attorney, who confirmed he had never been contacted about any will revision, and that under his standard practice, he would have required an independent capacity assessment and a private meeting with Dorothy before proceeding with any document of that significance. Carla's attorney argued Dorothy had made a free choice to reconnect with her daughter and to revise her estate accordingly. Susan Caldwell stood before Judge Moore and asked the court to consider what a free choice looked like for a woman whose physician had documented that she could not distinguish accurate information from false information presented to her by someone she had been conditioned to trust, who had been told repeatedly by someone she trusted that her devoted son was planning to take everything from her, and who signed a document prepared by that same person using a notary that person had arranged without her own attorney present, without any independent review of her capacity, and without a single conversation with the professional who had managed her estate for over a decade. Judge Catherine Moore ruled the revised will invalid in its entirety. She found that Dorothy Sims had lacked the cognitive capacity to execute a valid will, and that the evidence presented established a clear and deliberate pattern of undue influence carried out over a sustained period of time. She ordered the estate distributed according to Dorothy's previous will, naming Patrick as primary beneficiary. She referred Carla Wade to the Jefferson County District Attorney for elder financial exploitation and fraud.
Carla was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in Kentucky State Prison. Patrick Sims settled the estate quietly. He kept his mother's home for nearly a year before deciding to sell it, wanting to take his time. He said he needed the rooms to feel like his mother again before he was ready to let them belong to someone else. Dorothy Sims spent the last years of her life being cared for by a son who never once asked for recognition. The cruelest part of what Carla Wade did was not taking the money. It was convincing a woman with a failing memory that the person who loved her most had abandoned her. The court gave Patrick back the estate. Nothing could give Dorothy back what she believed in her final months. Would you have recognized those manipulations before it was too late? Tell us in the comments below. And if this story moved you, subscribe to Court of Shadows for more courtroom drama stories every week.